In Luke 6:24, Jesus says, "Woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation." What does it mean to be rich? Who is Jesus talking to? It seems that the root of the Greek word plusios has to do with being filled up or having fullness, abundance. It seems fair to say that as someone fills up their measure of material possessions, at some point they come to the place of being full, and things in addition to this are considered riches. But how can we know at what point we have become rich? The Apostle Paul writes in 1 Timothy 6 verse 6, "Now godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain that we can carry nothing out. And having food and clothing, with these we shall be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." Here, Paul defines riches as anything beyond food, clothing, and shelter. In other words, the basic necessities for life. I found a helpful diagram from a brother to help visualize it. All of us have a bowl of material goods, and on it reads, "Typical Christian's necessities." Below this bowl is a bigger bowl labeled "Things that are nice to have, but not sinful." As bowl 1 is being filled and begins to overflow, it runs over and begins filling the second vessel. Most Christians do not dare to add a third vessel below the second one, labeled "Luxury items for the filthy rich." Therefore, this bowl lays smashed on the floor so that typical Christian can have a clear conscience that he is not greedy. But how does Jesus view this two-bowl system? Is it lawful for typical Christian to allow their abundance to fill an extra vessel for themselves? In Luke 12, Jesus tells the parable of a rich fool who did exactly that. When the man built extra storage containers for his overflow, God rebukes him, saying, "Fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided?" Instead of allowing the overflow of our necessary vessel to supply things that are nice to have, Jesus commands this overflow vessel to be shared with the needy. He says, "Sell what you have and give alms." Why does Jesus command us to share? For one reason, he says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be." Jesus explains that when we accumulate beyond what is necessary, it will necessarily steal our heart from serving God to serving riches. He describes in the parable of the sower how riches are deceitful. The cares and pleasures of this life can choke us spiritually and make us unfruitful. Another reason Jesus calls us to share our excess is that we should love our neighbor as ourselves. 1 John 3:17 says, "But whoever has this world's goods and sees his brother in need and shuts up his heart from him, how does the love of God abide in him?" Additionally, Jesus' parable of the Good Samaritan shows that we need to be a neighbor to all humans, not just our local wealthy neighbors. This brings me to the main point of this video. We here in America are in a very dangerous place. Try making a list of your possessions that fall into the nice to have category and are unnecessary. It seems like tools that are required for business are in a different category. But remember that the bigger business one has, the more of an entanglement it will be to this world. Now, think of the majority of the population in third world countries, who barely can afford rice and beans and a bamboo shack for their family. How do you think God feels about this significant inequality? How do you think God feels when church groups visit a poor country for a couple weeks to make a difference? After they see the humble circumstances of these people, they go right back to the US and resume their superfluous lifestyle. Do you think that we can convince God that we love our neighbor as ourselves while we are storing up things beyond necessity? Should we not be seeking to share our second bowl with the needy? What if we have been deceived by our riches? What if we are enslaved to work so many hours simply to maintain our American lifestyle? What if we can return to the biblical definition of necessities, giving up our possessions and freeing up time to produce fruit in the kingdom of God? I believe that this is our cross in America. As Jesus said to the rich young ruler, "Sell whatever you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And come, take up your cross and follow me." Are you willing to put down your riches and pick up your cross?